What's up, Amazon sellers? The other day, I was listening to a Facebook Live with Natalie Cromley and an eight-figure Amazon seller called Mark. Now, quite simply, they were doing a Facebook Live about Mark's experience as an eight-figure seller. And it was literally a masterpiece of interviewing, but also content, and I loved it. But unfortunately, I didn't have time to listen to it all. So what I thought I would do is I would come back later, get my pen and paper, and make notes on what I can learn. And I thought what I could do even one better is to share what I learned from an eight-figure seller, from an interview with an eight-figure seller, with you guys. And I was going to share that today in this video, taking out the best snippets, put them together and share them back with you. So hopefully what I've took away, what I've learned from this great interview, I can share with you. And hey, maybe I can do that interview justice. I hope so, fingers crossed, because my God, it was amazing. And I just want to say thank you so much to Natalie Cromley from Nevermind the Buy Box. I'll drop a link up there, and also to Mark for the interview with Natalie. It was so amazing. I literally just had to share this information with you because I thought it was such a great interview. But hey, let's jump on now. Let me kind of talk you through some snippets that I've taken out there, some learning, some information. Think of this as the abridged version of that interview, and hopefully you're going to take something away. Let's get started. Okay, so what do I want to go through today? Well, quite simply, I'll go through a little bit of Mark's backstory, how he explained it, what happened. Number two, I'm going to talk through a little bit about how he got started and scaling up to 1 million. That's 7 figures, by the way. That's pretty massive. That's where I want to be. Then I'm going to go through how he talks a lot about how to contact wholesalers, work with wholesalers, and even manufacturers. And I'll talk through that and share some great snippets. Also go through some thoughts he had on ROI and profit, and he shared some great information about that, and I think it's worth sharing. And then finally, there's a couple of top tips which I'll share around PPC and also selling in the EU. I know it's something interesting now, but it's about mindset and how he approached it, which I really liked, so I'll share that as well. But let's jump into it now. Let's see what Mark said and share that back with you and what I learned. Right, okay, so starting off the backstory. Now, Mark kind of talks about this quite early on in the interview, and I really enjoyed what he said. He talked about how he started with £250, but also as well how he started with RA and what he did. And you know what? His journey is pretty incredible, but I think the thing that we can take away from it is the fact that he's a grafter. He grinds, he just keeps going. So watch some of these snippets now, whereby I tell a little bit about how he got started with just £250 and one credit card. 250
quid on a credit card. That's how we started.
So 250 quid to 8 figures.
Yeah.
You started around, was it about 15 years ago, something like that?
I need to think, but I remember PayPal wasn't used on eBay at the time. It was a thing called Bill Point. So if there's any like really old sellers out there, they'll remember that. Maybe not in this group, but PayPal, I'm not sure whether it existed or whether it wasn't adopted on eBay. It was certainly before eBay bought them for obvious reasons. Obviously, eBay don't own them now. But it was Bill Point, no checks and whatever other methods. People was paying by check, had to wait for it to clear before we dispatched the stuff.
See, I really like that. But also as well, in this snippet here, he talks about how he just did RA. He's talking about Tesco's 3 for 2, and I really like that as well.
Buying lube, Durex lube from Tesco's when it was on offer 3 for 2, and that was cheaper than I could buy it wholesale. And my wife was heavily pregnant, so you can imagine her rocking up at the Tesco's. There was none of this self-service checkouts, 2 big baskets full of this 3 for 2 lube.
Now, in that snippet there, he talked about how his wife was pregnant and he's just starting a new business using his credit card. What do I take away from that? He's a real hustler. He's literally like, I'm starting this business. He is pushing forward. Oh my God, there's so much going on in his life right now, and he's starting this whole new venture. That's crazy. Well done, big respect to him. Now, interesting enough, I love this comment here he makes about buying small quantities of stock. And I think if you're just starting in Amazon, it's going to be really, really helpful to have this mindset when you're going into, oh, I can only buy 3. So watch this.
I can only buy 3 items. I'll only make £45 on these 3 items. It's £45 more than what you had 10 minutes before. Instead of wasting time on Facebook and all these sites, whinging on about it, buy another 3 more with another account, or find another way, or buy another 3 other products. Because that 45 quid times that by 365 divided by 12, it's a brand new bloody Audi on the drive for free.
Now, this next bit here, what I'd say is if you're thinking about quitting the job, this is key. Listen to what Mark said and the effect it had on his business about quitting his job and how he went through that journey.
And were you still working?
No, this is the best bit of advice I can give anyone. And because I made this mistake later on, do not quit your job. Carry on. You just have to graft through the night. Get up before work, pack your orders. You know, I've even because I only had a few lines, I've even pre-wrapped stuff, took it to work, and then on a lunchtime, had a mobile Bluetooth printer, printed off labels to kind of get any orders, because it's the same product, you know, and then instead of having a coffee, nip to the post office. You can then go in a lot happier to work thinking, you know, this is helping me build my business because I'm living off that wage, and the money I'm making from this, I'm buying more stock, or I'm investing in a website, domain names, trademarks, whatever you want to do it. Don't make my mistake.
That is incredible. I love the fact that he got a Bluetooth printer at work and printed labels out because he knew what he's selling. That's really interesting. And the interesting point was that he didn't have like 1,001 different products. He just had some core products that he was selling, and he knew that he could bring the right products into work in his car, and when he needed to pop out a lunch or even a coffee break, he could go take them to the post office, get them posted. Smart man, that's smart thinking, time efficient. Now I love this bit here. He talks about how he transitioned from RA and then going into wholesale. So watch this.
You're selling on Amazon, selling on eBay. What was that point? But at this point, when we're going back, you're still essentially doing RA at that point. Is it RA and OA? When was the point? Because obviously you haven't been, it's not an 8-figure. Let's make this clear. Mark's business has developed and it's evolved. It's not an RA business, although you still do like to do a little bit of RA, don't you?
Can't help it. Can't help it.
Yeah.
Now I can't be bothered if I'm honest with you. But I look when I'm in the supermarkets or any of the grocers or whatever, I'll see stuff and I think, do you know what it is? I can't be asked. It's like 1 or 2 items or whatever. But you know, I kind of everyone's a buyer, isn't they? At the end of the day, everyone who's talking here are a bit of a buyer or whatever. Obviously, my specialism is procurement and buying. We can touch base on that. But I can't help myself. I was away camping with a few of my lads. About, I don't know, maybe 6 months ago. So we popped into Asda to get some cans and some food, bit of steak and stuff, bit of wild camping, and there's these Nerf guns in there, the big ones with the bullets that are like that, you know, take your head off. Not quick look on the old app there, bloody hell, 99 quid on Amazon, 17.50. Honestly, I filled half a minibus. That everyone's like looking at me, like the 3 lads I'm with, thinking this guy's an idiot. Do you know what I mean? And then I was trying to explain to him, but if you're not in this circle, people just don't know, do they?
No.
And, we sold them all for like 60 quid within like 3 days. This was only 6 months ago. I just couldn't help myself.
Yeah. I really don't think that you can ever lose. You never lose that kind of Del Boy-esque, because when it comes down to you know, this type of business, you flipping products, essentially. That's what it comes down to. It doesn't matter what level you're, you know, profit at the end of the day.
Buying for £1, you're selling for 150, whatever. It's just at the end of the day, you're buying a product and selling.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So started with RA, then you went into wholesale. So you went in traditional wholesale, but obviously your background before that was procurement, buying, legal contracts, you know, that type of thing. So you obviously used your previous skill then to go from what standard kind of Amazon sellers, you took it to the next level beyond wholesale. And obviously I can't, with Mark, we can't go into loads of detail specifically about what he does. And I'll let him say what he feels, you know, comfortable saying and what you don't feel comfortable saying. But obviously you did go through the traditional route of like OA, RA, wholesale, and then went into more partnerships, but it's not
my situation's not unique, but so we would do a bit of this and a bit of that. And then one thing people need to appreciate is what everyone struggles with is getting the same product regular. A lot of people are coming onto that, they're trying to track them down, right? I want to buy this, I want to buy that. I should imagine everyone's struggling because as soon as you mention Amazon or eBay and this, that, and the other, a lot of people are not interested. But there are distribution out there, channels that you can buy from. But everybody's after the same piece of the cake, so to speak. So what I did was I took it to another level. I built the business so that the hardest thing is getting to 7 figures. That's the hardest thing. 100K, anyone can do 100K in anything. Window cleaning, you can do 100K. So just break it down, start at the beginning. I tell my guys, my junior buyers that come on, or traders, 10 quid a day. If you can't make £10 a day, then what's the point? Because £10 a day times 365 is good money. All you then need to do is double that. You can go and make a tenner, wash 2 cars, a fiver, a whip. So anyone who says they can't make £10 a day, just go away, basically.
Okay, so that was a bit of background behind Mark, what he's done. Now the next bit I want to talk about is how Mark got started and started scaling to 1 million. And I think this is a great journey that he talks through about working with distributors, wholesalers, and obviously eventually manufacturers. So much information here. Let's jump in.
Stick with Amazon and eBay. Read up on all these policy changes. Things happen and change over the last 10 years on eBay and Amazon. They're making it so much easier. Like I said, we didn't have any of this. There's so much free content out there. There's people to speak to. There's some good courses. There's some bad courses. Just get advice, but just buy some stock. Let's just say you bought let's say you bought 500 quid worth of stock and you just had a stab at it. Start with eBay and it sells and you make 100 quid. And you take the missus out for dinner and you got 50 quid left. You got 550 quid to buy in stock. Then you got 700. Then you got 800. Before you know it, you're so rammed, but you're not going to quit your 40 grand job because you might as well pay Bob, to come in and pack orders for like 3 or 4 hours from your 20 foot by 10 foot shed you've built instead of getting a unit. Delusions of grandeur. Don't go building and taking on leases and units and all this, that, and the other. Keep it simple.
Keep it simple. Absolutely.
You can do £1 million from your house.
Yeah, no, I totally believe you can.
I've been on the phone, sat here on the phone, chatting shit, giving it all the spiel, going on about bedroom bandits, selling, I don't know, whatever from the bedrooms. And you know what? Guess what? I was in a bedroom that was the size of a broom cupboard. They didn't know that. Because guess what? I wasn't Bobby Does Dallas at hotmail.co.uk. I was like, whatever at whatever. And they're like, oh, okay.
Now, this part, he talks about being a bedroom bandit, and if you're starting out, I would literally just call yourself a bedroom bandit. Bedroom bandit. It's a great phrase, but I think it really resonates with what kind of mentality you should have when you are starting an Amazon. I love this next clip where he talks now about bird flu. The one thing which he really points out here is he was watching his numbers, watching his sales, and he saw what was happening and he reacted quickly. As a result, he did really well. And I think that's a really key takeaway. Always be watching your numbers.
And I contacted all of the manufacturers that I knew in the UK, or call them distributors, because my background before that was buying procurement for healthcare, so I knew where to buy things like syringes and needles and face masks, and we've sold all of that, been there, done it, and I just bought all the stock I could because it was quick enough before they cottoned on to everyone calling in for these masks and stuff. So then we literally had a house full of surgical face masks, and then we was putting the price up, which is now technically illegal, price gouging and all this, we'll get onto that. But then we just selling them for like 10 or a box, making, I don't know, about 6 quid. But we was making like £1,000 a day easily just on this one thing.
This next tip is a great one. So I'm not even going to say what it is, just watch it. This is really a fundamental that you should think about when you're scaling.
One of the things I go by is get big, get niche, or get gone. So the next way to get big is to contact the manufacturers directly. What's the point in buying from distribution? And I appreciate it's not easy buying from manufacturers, but it is doable. It can be achieved. There's ways to do it. So going from 1 million to say 5 million is a lot easier than going from 0 to 1 million or even 500K.
Get big, get niche, get gone. Love that. I literally think that's a great saying. So Mark, thank you so much for that one. Now that was some really great content, but I think also as well now he talks very much about moving into finding wholesalers. And here's some top tips about how to find wholesalers and actually approach them.
You started in RA, you went to wholesale. So how did you identify the people? I take it you went into wholesale, you discovered the products through wholesale and then just contacted the manufacturers?
Get yourself on LinkedIn. Give yourself a good profile. Just listen. Portray yourself in the right. Act like a 50 million. So this is the thing we're now doing, is we're now going through this whole rebranding piece and this, that, and the other, because we fly under the radar of what we do. We don't sing and dance about what we do. Manufacturers like it. But there comes a point now where we want to be a brand. So you need to like make yourself look like you are a £10 million or £20 million business. Nothing's stopping you having a domain name, a proper email address, potentially a limited company, a VAT thing. We can talk about all this finance stuff. I know it inside out. I can't give financial advice for the obvious reasons, blah, blah. But the point is you can make yourself look bigger than what you are.
Okay, so this snippet here, really useful about when you're talking to wholesalers, really what you should be thinking about. So a couple of snippets here actually is around wholesalers working with brands, thinking about what they should be doing. So I'll just put a couple of snippets here for you to watch, which I think are really value adding.
Like wholesalers, then you made that jump to speaking to manufacturers themselves, and we talked about this previously. You can't go to these people with the same old, hey, I'm an Amazon seller, kind of cap in hand. You got to go to them with something different. You got to stand out from the crowd.
Yeah, you can't rock up neither using a Gmail account. I mean, guys, you need to stop that. All these people that are emailing me and texting me and stuff, and they're using Hotmail accounts and Gmail accounts, and just don't do it. I mean, that's the first thing. I don't even reply to things like that anymore. And it's not being rude. It's just the amount of emails and stuff that we get. There comes a point where you have to kind of you got to focus on your own thing. But it's just some basic things to get in touch. But a manufacturer, you've got to add value. You can't go, oh, well, I sell on Amazon. I'm really good in this, that, and the other. Go, well, so what? I supply Amazon. I know, but there's a bit more to it than that. You need to start at distribution level and wholesale level. But you need to stop whinging about VAT and stuff like that. If you're whinging about VAT, then what's the point in thinking about being a 7-figure seller? Because you need to be VAT registered. If you're paying VAT, you're making money. Let's put it this way. If a manufacturer comes to you with a problem and you look at the deal and you go, I ain't going to make any money from that, I'd do it. Because guess what? I've got an account open with them. I'm trading with them. I'm talking to them. I've done what others can't do. Look at the smaller guys. Look at, a smaller brand who's in competition with PepsiCo as an example, who doesn't have an Amazon presence. Explain to them why they should be using you and not Amazon. Why shouldn't, and this, that, and the other. So from a buyer's point of view, this is what I find really difficult, is 20 years ago, salespeople just wanted to sell. They didn't give a toss who they were selling it to. And stock would get wrote down, the marketing department would find all this money, write it down. Nowadays, they decide who they want to sell it to. It's not just a case of, you'd be thinking, oh, you could go there with 100 grand. I'm going to give you 100 grand PO. They don't care. No. It's nothing. They decide because there's a plan, there's a strategy. They can sell to anybody. You need to get that right. So what you need to do is you need to spend 12 months getting yourself profile done, getting the experience on Amazon and eBay, not whinging on about making £1 or £2. Who cares if you don't make any money in a year, as long as you've got your job? What you've learned is a bloody master's, do you know what I mean? You're not gone to college and got a degree. You've more than done a degree in what you're doing. Learn a bit about copywriting, learn a bit about SEO. You don't need to be a master in all these things. And then guess what? Then you start employing these people later on in your career, because that's what it is. It's a career. Then you need to start thinking, Jesus Christ, got to 1 million. All I need to do is double. And then there's this. You get one good partner on board. It's easy getting a second and then a third. Get them in different sectors, because that way, let's just say you're dealing with, I don't know, felt tip pens, and that market dries up.
Is that
later on?
No joke.
But it doesn't matter, because you're selling Easter eggs, and the other one you're selling, I don't know, beer. The other one you're selling, I don't know, porcelain, whatever. Mm-hmm. So let's just say you're doing 1 million in each of these, or 50k in each of these. You're covered. You've still got these running. Because at the moment, people are whinging because Buckaroo's sold out. But that's okay because I'm selling Connect 4 and I'm selling Monopoly. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But don't just stick to toys, consumables, clothing. In fact, clothing's a terrible one. Whatever. But there's but then you can, before you then start thinking about these things, then you'll start generating some cash flow, and then you'll start getting marketing money from brands and stuff. How can we help you? Before you know it, you've got your own marketing department. You're running their AMS, the cost per click. You're doing a bit of graphic design for them as well. You're adding more value. Mm-hmm. How quick can you go to market? How quick can you deliver it? Go into one of the supermarkets tomorrow and pick a brand. Look at the brands where they don't have a huge face in. You'll probably find there's some dog food on there that's organic and vegan, and it's £3 a tin. And everything else is like 50 pence. Target them because they will listen. They probably don't have an Amazon presence. They're new. They've got a bit of cash. They're struggling for cash. They've just got into Tesco's. Tesco's is squeezing them on price. And you're going in there and saying, I can pay more than what Tesco's pay you. And I tell you what, if I can sell it for more on Amazon, I'll pay more for the products. That there is fucking gold dust.
So, hey, that manufacturer one top tip, that was brilliant. I really like that. And you know what, it's so easy. It really is. And I think that's such a useful tool. And the fact that we're all thinking about the big players, there's so many little players out there, and he just tells you how to go and do it. That is a game changer. Now, the next one is about his thoughts on starting private label. And if you are thinking about it, I think this is really important. So have a think about this. And then also as well, I'll put in a final one there about multiple accounts and how that works around eBay and manufacturers.
Easier to do private label when you're not relying on that as an income because you've got other areas to focus in. If anything, I'll use some of the money from that to develop my private label. So none of this bullshit, hey guys, fucking sell a water bottle. Forget all that nonsense. No one cares. You're just going to burn your money. There's lots of products out there. Don't go off all the same crap that everyone's pitching on YouTube about private label. Not interested. So private label should come when you're comfortable in your business, you're paying all your bills, you're generating extra profits, you've got plenty of stock, in my opinion. And I've not even started doing that yet. I've got an idea. The biggest problem is I don't have the time for it right this moment. So I'm probably going to employ somebody to kind of work on that and deal with it. But that costs money to do that. So it might cost you 10, 20 grand or whatever, just to get it off the ground.
Yeah.
What I like about private label is no one's going to jump on your ear in, as long as you've gone through the right procedure, trademark and all this other stuff. Very simple stuff. It's 175 quid for a trademark. And then onto private label. Consumables, yeah. Guys, you need to be buying. There's no point selling a 55-inch TV because they ain't coming back for it, are they? They're not coming back. Mm-hmm.
So I know you sell a lot of
remote because they're going to keep buying batteries from you, aren't they? Those are the kind of products you need to be thinking about. Light bulbs. There's a good idea, guys. Huge market for light bulbs on Amazon. I'm not doing it yet. I will be soon. Well, I'll be honest with you. This is something that the manufacturers are going to like. They're going to want you to have an eBay account dedicated for them. They're not going to want to see any other brands or any other manufacturers on there because that's their baby with you. Do you know, if you've got like a store and cost per click and all this, that and the other, and when you're claiming money back from them and stuff. So that's something to consider. That a lot of manufacturers, if you're dealing with Coca-Cola, Pepsi's not going to want to deal with you, are they? But maybe they would under another limited company name with another Amazon account and another eBay account. So it's another business within your business.
So, hey, really interesting there. And I think it's really interesting how the fact that he talks about creating multiple accounts, and we've always done that. But when you're working with the big manufacturers, they want to see multiple accounts. They don't want to see a competitor on the same reports that they are. So something very interesting there. Now, the next section I want to talk about is his thoughts around other areas. A couple of things: ROI, profit, products to buy, scaling OARA, and finally, he shares about how much profit you think you should be making. So really, really important at 8 figures. This is about how he approaches the whole equation of profit and ROI. Let's watch this.
People get too strung up on what's the ROI, what's the cash margin. Because you can buy something for £100 and sell it for 200. You've made 100 quid. Or you could buy something for £1 and sell it for 10. And they go, oh, the ROI is much better. I'd rather have the 100 quid profit than I would the 9 quid profit. Mm-hmm. But they're like, oh, I've made 90%. Who cares?
Very interesting. Cash value. I think that's really, really insightful and really important, actually. It is about profit at the end of the day. Now, the next bit here, he talks about product selection, thinking about products to buy. I love this, and especially when you think about wholesale, amazing.
We don't just sell our consumables, we sell products that go in. So you have the physical product and a consumable product as well. So think about that as well. How can I get people buying more? See the subscribe and save? We're all over that. All over that.
Now that's really interesting because not only he talks about that kind of product, Mr. Luke Dugan talks about that as well. So the next bit I'm just going to show you is a snippet around where he talks around scaling RA, OA, and I think this is an amazing bit of content.
Where you're turning over X amount of revenue, and then all it is a case of adding on another product, another product, another product, another product, and before you know it, you're at £1 million. But £1 million seems a million miles away, but it's never been so easy. Never been so easy. Appreciate you can't do £1 million walking into Smith's or whatever, but I actually saying that, I think you can. You need to do what I did years ago. Everyone's like, oh, I'm pals with the guy at Smith's or whatever. No, what you do is you tell him to order stock in for you. What's coming on promotion? Oh, we've got these, I don't know, Paw Patrol things or whatever, yeah? Top tip. Cool. Get us 50. Here's the cash up front. He looks like a legend to head office because they've sold so many of this, that and the other. Nowadays, they're starting to get a bit more challenged because the manufacturers are like, hang on a minute, how come you got one traction going through? Because it's all getting controlled and it's getting tighter. But listen, don't go in there and tell them to keep stock back. Tell them to buy your stock in. Yes, I want 50 Monopolies or whatever it is you're buying, or Barbies when they're on 3 for 2. Tell them you want a pallet full. Concentrate on that one SKU if need be. Some people disagree, but do you know what it is? It takes the same effort to list one product and sell them all through instead of listing 100 throughout the night, different SKUs, making £1 on each. Just make one killer listing on that 100 items or whatever.
Okay, this next section I really love. This is about profit. Now, everyone talks about top line revenue, 8-figure Amazon seller, but how much is he actually making? Well, this is a really eye-opening point. So watch this, and thank you for sharing, Mark, honestly.
If you can make 10% after cost, and when I say after cost, I'm talking
everything.
I mean everything. You're in a good place.
And that's paying yourself, that's paying your staff, that's paying warehouses.
Pay yourself a wage, no more, no less.
Wow, that is great. And hey, I know he didn't give us an exact figure, but he gave us a very good estimation of where it was. 10% that he's happy with after all costs. And this guy's got a lot of costs, warehouse, staff, everything like that. But it shows you a good idea to aim for as you scale your business and to try and maintain it. Obviously, more the better, but 10%, great. Now, I love this one. This is about creating listings bundles. Now, if you are thinking about doing that, and I know Natalie is a big advocate of this, but this is an amazing tip. So Mark, thank you for this. Watch this clip. I love this. And then also as well, I'll snip on to the end about penny pinchers and his thoughts on them. So again, it's about mindset.
You want to sell, I don't want to drink pop, but I thought I might get a sore throat with this. So you want to sell Fanta and you want to sell, got to be careful what products I pick up.
Yeah, don't pick up lube.
And you want to sell this, I don't do lube anymore. Well, don't sell it. No. Let's say you want to sell these two products together. I would just go to the manufacturer and say, listen, I need an EAN for that product. I want a specific EAN. So that then product becomes a product in its own right. So all this buying fucking GS1 barcodes off eBay and this, that, and the other, I get the EAN from the manufacturer. Then I know I've built a revenue stream on that product. In 12 months' time, my listing's not going to get pulled down because it's an official listing. So there's another top tip. So it's not profitable. And guess what? He ain't going to get involved in that SKU again, is he?
Okay, some great content there, and I appreciate I've been going on for a while, but this was a 3-hour-long interview, and my God, it was fantastic. I really enjoyed watching it, even for all 3 hours. But I'm gonna just leave you with a couple of final points. So we'll go through a bit of PPC and his thoughts on selling in the EU. So PPC first, let's watch this.
So promoted listings, we do, again, it's a different game. So we've had banners on the front page of eBay. I can't even tell you the pain of what that costs. So promote, the answer is they work if it's the right product and the offers the right price. It's all about traffic, time of the month, time of the day, what it is. I mean, a compelling offer to me is a 400 quid camcorder for 150 quid. Selling a 12 pack of Fanta for 9 quid instead of 12 quid. It's not an offer. There's some garbage offers on there. But what is fucking good about eBay is cost per click. Because guess what? You only pay on conversion. So fucking hammer it. That's what I think. Do you know what I mean? On Amazon, you burn through cash. Yeah. On eBay, you only convert. So put your money on that. So for instance, I don't know, if you're, and you should have everything set at minimum 2% sponsored ads, minimum. And you're only paying for it if it's converting. So whatever that 2% is, 20 pence, 50 pence, a pound, whatever of your retail price, if that margin's within your sell price, let's say it costs you 50 pence to sell it via click-through, but there's a pound in it, well, do it. Because what you're then going to do is you're going to make your products rank, be more important to eBay because you're selling a lot more. And then naturally, you can then start reducing that cost per click spend down to 2%. That's what we do. If we want to get a listing to the top in Amazon, we'll batter it. And I mean batter it. I'll pay £1 for someone to buy something and I'll lose 10 pence on it. But guess what? It's top of search. And then when that's got 300-400 sales on it, switch it off. No one's coming nowhere near that SKU. And they ain't got the balls to spend that kind of money on promoting a product. But then I'm going to get that money back over the next 4 to 6 weeks by selling it organically and using that margin I invested in the product, if that makes sense. Unless you're killing it in the UK, what's the point in focusing on another country? If you're not doing 100k or 200k in the UK, why would you even look at France? Because you're buying, all the OAs and the RAs are buying English products. Don't complicate things selling in another country. Returns are an issue, VAT, charges. Just get the UK right. I just think you're going to run into less complications if you concentrate on your market.
Yeah.
There's lots of things people are probably not aware of. If you're selling specific types of products, there's different duties and rates, even within the European Union, MP3 players and so forth, digital pitch frames, blah, blah, blah. In the UK, you know the crack. You know your fees, you know the VAT, and it's as simple as that.
Yeah.
Unless you can't physically sell any more of your particular products in the UK, there is no point selling in another market. Even for another €2, €3, there's just no point. It's not worth the extra interest stats, admin fees, running another Amazon account. It's just defocus. Unless you're doing volume, what's the point? There is no point. People will disagree with me. I'm sure they will. And I'm not saying I'm right, but from experience, we switched it off 3 years ago.
I love how he looks at that, smashes it, driving it forward. Again, he's talking a lot about eBay there, but it is just thinking about PPC. And when you've got those replenishable items, I know Mr. Luke Dugan, he's a big fan of them. That's going to be really helpful. The other one as well, also looking there, is about selling on the EU. Now, what I really love about that is the fact that he's literally like, I'm still not smashing it in the UK. You know, he's doing 8 figures. He's like, we're going to get to 9, we're going to do 100 million. And he's not even considering the EU. He's like, just do one thing really, really well. And you know what, I'm learning a lot about that in my life. So I think it's a really top tip. But hey, a lot on there. So thank you very much. Now that was one hell of a lot of information. And I just want to say, first things first, thank you so much to Natalie Cromney from Never Mind the Buy Box for obviously arranging that interview, having it, recording it, sharing it. And number 2, thank you so much from Mark for putting that all together. That was so much information. And thank you for sharing. Like, rarely do we get to hear 7-figure sales, but 8, that's like, no, it just doesn't happen. So Mark, thank you so much for sharing that. I hope this video has done, picked out some of the points that you've done and hopefully done you justice. Honestly, I really appreciate everything you put forward. And honestly, I really respect everything you say. And thank you so much. Now, what I will say is I'll drop a link around here to, number 1, the channel Never Mind the Buy Box, and also that interview. So if you want to watch it in full, have a watch of that. It's going to be super important. But from me, Thomas Parkinson, and FastTrackFBA, thank you so much for watching, and thank you to Natalie and Mark for putting that together.